You're going to be on the ground in Qatar. Obviously, it's coming along quick with mid-season and all that. It's really come on everybody fast. What are you expecting when you get over there?
I'm not entirely sure, to be honest. You can see, like, from the people who've arrived very early, you can get a sense of what the atmosphere is like on the ground. Like, is it real? Is it manufactured? Is it sort of and that's not high, like, that's not exactly out of sync with some previous World Cups I've attended. I mean, this is the fourth World Cup I've gone to. South Africa and Russia in particular probably would have had cosmetic elements to it in various ways, in different ways. Probably Russia more pronounced. Brazil a little bit different, a little bit more authentic. But this one, it's very hard to know. I mean, it's well documented, the issues with the country. We will cover these all in due course.
Absolutely.
And it's very hard to summarise it into one sort of neat window. But I think everyone is aware broadly why this hosting is so controversial. You're going to a country with no history of hosting this volume of travellers, even if the volume of travellers may be smaller than previous World Cups. It's a Winter World Cup. There are stadiums that have all been put up. We don't know what the sort of demographic of fans in the stadium will be. So there's a huge unknown, and I think from speaking to anyone I know that's travelling out there, everyone sort of feels the same. There's no sense of knowing what's coming. It's more a sense of what way is this going to go.
Yeah, I think the word authentic there is a very, very good word. I mean, everything about World Cups is about history, where you look back into, depending on what age you are, everyone has a first World Cup they remember, but they know about World Cups before they were born. They know about Jules Fontaine. They know about things that happened, 1966, all that. I think that element of lack of authenticity about the whole bid, going back from when it was given to now, even with the building of stadiums stuff and that kind of thing, where it's really, really difficult to know how to feel about it. It's just
completely conflicted. I think there's no other way to describe it. And I think you're always very much conscious of it's like virtue signaling or something, to be all overly performative around that and talk about how terrible it is while you're going. Like, you have to be very conscious of probably striking the balance, in the sense that this is the biggest sporting event, in my view, in the world. Each one has a story. Like, every tournament has a story to tell, and often, but not always, but often it's wrapped in with the history of the country. Like, Italian 90 in its own way is wrapped in with Italy.
Yeah, Nessun Dorma and all that.
All of that
stuff.
Qatar, it's that. There's no charm. There's no charming anthem here. But this is the story of the tournament, and possibly it's going to be even more pronounced version of that. And I think there is that sense of knowing going there that this competition is never just going to be about the football. And again, previously South Africa, there was the huge symbolism of it being in Africa. Brazil, there was concerns about the finances being spent on stadiums in a country with huge poverty. Russia, probably the one I would in a way would almost have regrets about, because in the sense that I think a lot of people probably did take their eye off the ball a bit.
There was a consistent outrage about Qatar almost since it was announced. But the Russian, when you think back on it, there wasn't a huge amount, this kind of element of sports washing conversation pre-Russia, I wouldn't have thought, looking back.
No, but the voices were there. But I think the reason why Russia got away with it a bit more is that it does have a football tradition.
Yes.
And maybe in my own head, like, I mean, I had a good time in Russia, and now it's almost embarrassing to say it, because you do feel a little bit of guilt for almost saying that. But you go to sort of places like Kazan, Samara, all of which have sort of top level clubs there, and passionate football fans who were like, this is great, we love our football and it's coming here. And there would have been people, and I would have written about it at the time, every second person would be, oh, what do you think of Putin? What do you think of us? And you would have met people who were, they weren't brainwashed, but absolutely. There wasn't that sense that everything we do from this tournament has to be about this.
Yeah.
Whereas I feel with Qatar, there's a huge element of, it's been so manufactured in a place with no infrastructure of any degree in terms of football, that you have to accept that all of this is being played in an illusion. It's like some kind of fantasy land that's been created. It's like a theme park. It's a football theme park that exists for a month, and as a result, you can't just suspend your knowledge of that and just completely consume yourself in the football. I think it's going to be difficult, in my opinion anyway. Everyone's different. I think it's going to be difficult to do that.